So, lots changed for me because this jacket, before COVID, used to close. And it used to have buttons here, and now I just carry those buttons in my pocket as a reminder of when I used to be thin. Yeah. And before COVID, I was on this mission to be I'm gonna be hot. I'm gonna be in my late 30s, child-free, not getting married, successful entrepreneur, making big bucks in Barcelona by not teaching English. Can I get English teachers in the room? Anyone? And then COVID happened. And it was the most powerful thing I've ever experienced because it was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. I don't come from a country that has suffered colonialism. We are the colonizers. And we grew up very privileged in small town Canada. And I grew up so lucky, I have to say, and so non-resilient. Like crying anytime anything went wrong. Horrifying, boxes of cookies destroyed just when something small happened to me. And then I met a man. And this man made my life hell. And he's right there. And he doesn't quite speak English, so he doesn't know what I'm going to say. ¿Has entendido? He can never come to these nights because he usually works at 8, but since the show has been moved later on, he can now come and not understand anything I say. It's how our relationship works. So this man opened a business 6 months before COVID, a barbershop. How well did barbershops do during COVID? All right? He was so poor that I became poor. Because when you love someone, you can't watch them cut mushrooms into 18 little pieces. You have to help him and buy a can of mushrooms, right? And then maybe dog food, and then maybe pay the rent that month. And I took all the money that I was making as a wealthy, thin, hot, childless entrepreneur in Barcelona teaching English, and I gave it to him. And it was so hard because I grew up thinking money was everything, right? If you don't have money, you don't have a future, you don't have hope. It's everything, it's your security, right? I'm Canadian. We live in social security heaven. It's like Sweden, but chubbier. Yeah. Older, more Walmart, I don't know. Less attractive people. It's got a lot of things wrong with it. Anyone Canadian? No? Okay. American? No? Yeah? You are American, aren't you? All that pizzazz, should have known. Great. So, every week for 3 years, this man would come home and he would tell me another problem that he's facing. And in the first 2 years, I would just cry. And I'd be like, just give it up and go back to your minimum wage job. It's not worth it. I'm an entrepreneur, it's not so great. Just go back. And he'd be like, no, we're gonna make it. And I'm like, we're not gonna make it. You work the night job in a factory, and then you sleep 3 hours, and then you go to your business, and you walk the dog, and then you do that again and again and again, and you can't walk, and your knee is broken, and your ankles are fucked. And I'm tired of massaging you, really, right? And you snore, and I can't sleep either. It was just so sad, but he kept believing in the dream, disillusion. And if you spend time with someone long enough, they rub off on you. Has anyone ever seen that? Yeah. Women, when they live together, they all cycle together. Not cycle, boys. We have a cycle every month, and we do it together, apparently. It's like women unity, right? And maybe if we hang enough with someone cool and resilient and beautiful and hopeful and hardworking and kind and resilient and sexy, ¿has entendido? Maybe it rubs off, and it did, but only after 3.5 years. So, and I have to say that after those years, I'm so grateful to COVID because it taught me resilience, something that you can't really teach yourself. You're not gonna go put yourself in a war zone just to be like, I wanna learn resilience. LinkedIn says it's the skill of the future. So here I go, you know? You don't put yourself in bad situations by choice. And I put myself there because of love, and I just couldn't get out because I love them. And now, it's so exciting because 4 years later, I am super chubbier. But I am like 20 kilos happier too, right? This is all happiness, right? I'm wearing those underwear that cover your belly. You know those? They're literally from my grandma. You can see they're right there, right? I didn't know what those were before COVID. They're awesome young women. And so now I don't feel like a young woman. I feel like a wise, older woman. And it's 1,000 times better than being young, thin, blonde, and thinking that the world is having success in your career. Because when you have resilience, nothing can stop you because you know this too will change. Vipassana, anyone? No? Buddhism, anyone? That's from that. Yeah? And I guess I just wanted to share because he actually could come tonight and he doesn't understand anything I'm saying, but he did learn 6 weeks of English to meet my parents this summer. Yeah? So that's love. 6 weeks and 4 years. But I guess sometimes this room is full of young women, and I always want to be like, oh, I'm like that wise old auntie who comes here with her like granny panties and like tells the girls that it's okay that your coat doesn't button up and that guys don't look at you on the street anymore, they did when you were younger, because now you don't give a shit. Because you're like, I like who I am. It's like this idea of self-love. That's one of my theories too. That's bullshit. It's like life coaches wearing Lulu pants and hippies hugging trees tell you to love yourself. But I figured in this lifetime, I don't know what happened in my past lifetimes, but in this lifetime, self-like is good enough. Because I went from kind of self-dislike, self-hate, hating my body, never thinking anyone would love me, traveling the world trying to fix my back pain, like a very difficult, like tough life up here, not on the surface, but inside and inside, right? And it can change. And it is very beautiful when you can see the light. See the light at 8 minutes. It should be blinking, right? Yeah, I'm at 8 minutes, but that's it. My hashtag is self-like. I created it so nobody has it yet, so you can't follow it. But if you follow it, you will find me, Jessica, a humorist storyteller. Thank you.